Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be covering a long-term logarithmic regression curve indicator that I created for Ethereum to help us analyze and predict the Ethereum market action. So if you are new to the channel and you want to show some support, please leave a like and subscribe. So I have created this logarithmic regression curve in white here, and I've shaded this region to kind of demonstrate that it is an accumulation zone. So time and time again, whenever price action is within this band, that has proven to be a phenomenal region to accumulate. And I have also plotted the closing price in a color-coded indicator where you can see the percent difference between the close and this mid curve in the regression line. So when the closing price has a value that is significantly higher than this mid curve, the higher it gets, the warmer the colors get. So during this really dark red phase, we were extended from this mid curve line by about 3,200%. And then on the other hand, if you are within the curve, then obviously the closing price is very close to this midline and you get these darker blue colors. So I think this color coding is very important because it helps us visualize the percent moves and allows us to kind of compare this cycle to where we were in previous cycles based on the percent difference of how far we were extended. So one of the things I like about this is that, it's very easy to highlight the differences between this cycle and the past cycle. So as you can see in this past cycle, we had this initial peak was in red, and you can see how that led to ultimately a 172-day consolidation phase where we weren't really trending up, but we were kind of holding our ground, consolidating and coiling up for this next move. And we didn't actually reach the red, orange, or yellow in this cycle. So we were never as far extended as we were back here in the prior cycle. So one of the things that can tell us is that because we weren't so overextended to the upside, then on the downside in the bear market, we most likely won't go completely down for like 90% because we didn't have a move to the upside that would warrant some 90% crash. And I like to compare this cycle right here to this phase during 2016, mainly because you can see how this kind of peak right here was in the lime green color. So similar to this move right here in November of 2021. And you can see how we had this initial peak, we came back down, and then we had a second peak that was higher than the previous one. So we had this initial peak, and then we had the second peak that was higher than this one, and then we consolidated and went down into the regression band. So we have been consolidating and moving down slightly, but we are still above the regression band. So by the way, that is currently the upper bound is at $1,138. The midline is at $819, and the lower bound is at $558. And one of the things about this curve that's unique is that it is a continuous function that will continuously move up with time. So no matter what happens with Ethereum's price action, this curve is going to be moving up till the end of time. And that is one of the drawdowns of it. There are some limitations to indicators like this because obviously Ethereum is not going to just move up forever, right? Because that's just not realistic. But for the next few years, this is going to be very helpful, in my opinion, for the next bear market bottom and accumulation phase. So if we were to draw this out, this curve, we could assume that if we were to revisit this curve, say at the end of 2022, then we could be revisiting it at some higher valuation, say at like $1,400, $1,500. And from where we are right now, that is only not too big of a drop. It's only going to be around 27%, and we've seen 27% drop several times, so it wouldn't correspond to say like a complete bear market where we drop say 94%. So if we were to take a move and suggest that a bottom around $1,400, $1,500 at the end of 2022, that would take us down around 70%, which is much less severe than the last bear market. But again, that's all speculation. We could revisit the midline or even the lower bound. And you can see in here in March of 2020, we actually went below the regression curve. But I would attribute this largely to the pandemic and that sort of black swan event where basically everything dropped 50% in one single day. But ultimately, I do believe that if we trend back down into this regression band, it is going to be a phenomenal region to accumulate Ethereum for the long term, and we have some sort of confluence with this 2018 cycle peak. So you could see how if we just kind of extend this over, we want to have a variety of indicators in our toolbox so that we can have some confluence and confidence in our long-term views. So let's say we were to trend sideways and down into this regression band, you can see how we could have some sort of price action that is retesting this all-time high and entering this band. So in this event, obviously this is not going to play out exactly like this, but if we were to do something like this where we go sideways and down slightly into this regression band and retest this 2018 peak, then I would say this is going to be one of the greatest opportunities of accumulating Ethereum in a very, very long time. And that would also correspond to these darker blue colors where we've seen time and time again in the darker blue colors that has been a phenomenal region to accumulate Ethereum. So obviously this is going to take a while to play out, and I think you just have to give it time and be patient. But if you see price action within this regression band for the long term, that is going to be a great region to accumulate, just in my opinion. Again, it's not financial advice. This is just what I'm going to be doing, and I'm going to be publishing a few new indicators for you on the channel soon. So I want to provide slightly more confluence, just because it's always better to have more indicators saying the same thing as opposed to less. So that is the end of the video, guys. I hope you did enjoy, and as always, I will see you in the next one.